checking out a new case from Deepcool. It's the CG560. It's a mid-tower case with 4 included fans, but as you're about to find out, not everything went to plan with this video. So let's see what happened. The original idea for this whole build was I was going to do a regular case review, like how we go fully into depth with everything. However, when we were pulling the case out of the box, the case was completely mangled. The whole backside was pushed in. The metal mounting system that goes onto the tempered glass was just destroyed. So most of the case I kind of repaired. I didn't think it was really fair to review a case that arrived to us completely destroyed, and I'll show a little bit more detail of what actually happened to the case throughout the video. But yeah, this video didn't really go to plan at all, but we usually build these type of PCs to inspire you guys to build beautiful PCs of your own. So let's build it. And I actually did test the thermals of this as well, because it was okay enough to test that, so I'll let you know how it goes with that too, but let's get building. Alright ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the build in the brand new Deepcool CG560, but as I mentioned earlier, let's take a bit of a look at those thermals. As you're seeing here with the thermals, they're actually quite good considering these parts don't really get that hot as it is, but I did want to find out what it would be like in this type of system, considering this would probably be a case that you're looking at if you're using this type of hardware. So the 6600 XT and the 5600X is a quite common combination of parts, and I figured why not? Let's just see how we went. So yeah, not too bad on average. All right, let's quickly chat about all the parts in this system. The CPU's the AMD Ryzen 5 5600X. We put the 5600X on the Gigabyte B550 Aorus Master. To cool the 5600X, we use the brand new Deepcool AK620. It's one of their new dual tower coolers. It's pretty decent for the 5600X, actually probably a bit overkill, but yeah, I found it to be quite good. I'm gonna come back and test this with a much hotter CPU at a later date, so make sure you're subscribed for that. We will be doing that very soon. The GPU is the Gigabyte Radeon RX 6600 XT Gaming OC. The RAM is 16 gigs of Aorus RGB memory at 3600 megahertz with 2 dummy modules to fill out the extra slots. Cable extensions are Thermaltake black and orange cable extensions. Haven't used these in a while and they actually suit this build quite well. And the fans are the new Deepcool fans. I forgot the model number of them, but I'll probably put them on the screen. But yeah, you can daisy chain these ones. Not a huge fan of these fans, if I'm being absolutely honest. Had a few problems with them flickering and whatnot. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that considering these are new fans and it's probably gonna be something that Deepcool has to address with these new fans. If I missed any of the parts, I'll put a PC part picker list down below in the description so you can check out everything. Yeah, okay, let's talk about this brand new case, the CG560 from Deepcool. Now, as I mentioned in the start of this video, ours arrived quite mangled. When I pulled it out of the box, I was like, oh, that's an interesting rear panel design. But all of this here was completely pushed in. So you can see the creases in the metal. I'll put a clip on the screen so you can see the creases in the metal a bit better. But I did bend it back and I did use a little rubber mallet to try and fix it as best as I could. And that's why I didn't go through and fully review this case, is because it arrived completely mangled. Now, it's the shipping company for just kicking the box around. It looked like someone booted the box as hard as they could. In terms of building in this case, it's super easy to build and I had no issues with it. Obviously, if you want to like be a bit more sensical with why I'm saying that, just look at the parts. Like it's not an overly complicated build, but as I said before, these are the kind of parts that you would use for a case like this, you know? Not everything always has to have a liquid cooler. Air cooling is quite good, and as you saw from the thermals of this new cooler, it's actually quite decent. But again, big caveat, 5600X, 65 watt CPU, massive cooler. Yeah, it's completely overkill for that CPU. I feel like Deepcool's kind of listened to what I've been saying over the last little while with these mid-tower cases not supporting EATX out of the box, and I think they finally listened to what I had to say about it, because this one does support EATX, and I'm gonna say EATX because EATX is a fake standard. It's a nothing standard, but it does support bigger boards than ATX boards, so it is nice that it finally does it. Cable management, like most Deepcool cases that we've covered over the last year or so, pretty easy. Again, take that with a grain of salt. There's not heaps in here. It's not a super complicated build, but again, this is the kind of hardware that you'd probably put in a case like this. The front included fans are RGB. They use that other 3-pin RGB connector. It's got a built-in RGB controller, but it doesn't allow you to set a solid color. I don't understand how you can include an RGB controller in a case that doesn't allow you to set a solid RGB color. So I literally unplugged it, bypassed it, used an adapter cable and plugged it into the motherboard so I could synchronize all of the lighting in the case. So yeah, it made more sense. Now, as far as these new Deepcool fans that they sent over for like us to use in a build or review or whatever, they're daisy chainable. They use a wacky proprietary connector, and if you have them plugged into the motherboard for motherboard pass-through, they kind of work. It will have the solid color. So the original idea was to have orange lighting, but the lighting was flickering and it was annoying me, and different RGB header, different RGB controllers, everything in like the pass-through mode for these fans, they're just not good. So I think Deepcool needs to address that problem. I did test it with like another motherboard and whatnot to see if it was the motherboard and another RGB controller. It's the fans, so yeah. So let us know if you've ever had any experiences of you receiving a case and it not being as advertised in a non-broken state. Let me know. I'm curious to see what the percentage is of people who have this kind of issue. Now, again, I'll say it again, it did put me off from doing a review because I didn't feel like it was fair to Deepcool, basically because it arrived in the state, and it's not Deepcool's fault for it arriving like this. It's the shipping company. It's totally their fault. I haven't even told Deepcool that it's arrived like this because I just don't think it's, yeah, Yeah, they can see it in the video if they watch this video. All right, that's it. I'm done. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peak, we seek. If you want the music, it's on Patreon. Yeah, stick around because cinematic mode, little baby cinematic mode today. Stick around. I know if you're leaving, I can see the analytics, but please stick around. I love you guys very much. And yeah.